Hello, hello, my friends. Here I am talking to you from my garden. I was supposed to be talking to you from the marina, doing a walk and talk, but I found out that I'm just not capable of walking, talking, and video filming yet. So, default plan is back in the garden, which I think you don't mind. Today, I want to talk to you about some challenges that even after all these years living in Greece, I still find big. I love this country. There's no place else I'd rather live. Well, maybe Crete, but that's in the country. And every place has some challenges. So these are not game changers. But number one is garbage, litter, trash. It is a huge problem here in Greece. I think especially here on Salamina, it's terrible. Every so often you see the big dumpsters along the street in the neighborhoods. They're almost always overflowing. And then people toss around them, not into them, things like old furniture, a mattress. I have even seen a toilet bowl one time. So this is really, really huge. I would like to say it's better than it was when I first came, but truly it's not. You go to some tourist islands, because this is not a tourist island. They make much more of an effort because it's what tourists expect. But still in the back streets, you see this. I have house sitters that come periodically to take care of my garden and my cats if we travel to the States or to England. And it's the one thing they all mention. Oh my God, we're so shocked by all of the litter, the trash, the overflowing garbage containers. So I don't know what the issue is. I don't know if it's a matter of money, education, or better planning. I don't know, but there it is. So that's one that I still deal with badly. Now, on to number two, which is heartbreaking, and it's homeless street animals, cats and dogs that live on the streets. And just now, people are being educated about, since we came in the EU, about neutering and spaying. When I first came out to the island, there was only one veterinarian on the island. And I don't think he was licensed. He took care of sheep and goats. So when I went with my cat to have her spayed, he told me it was against the law here to spay them. I think he didn't know how to do it because nobody would need to spay a goat or a lamb, a sheep. So yeah, so that's huge. So we're just overrun with especially cats, and especially here on the island. That's how I got all four of mine. They were all street cats that found me. We finally did get veterinarian, and I had a very good veterinarian for years, and he knew that I would take care of street cats. So when I would bring in a male to be neutered, he would go half and half with me. So that was huge. Now, I have learned since then, I'm using somebody else now, but I have learned since then that he takes part in groups that go to different areas and do like 2 days of free neutering and spaying on more remote places. So bravo, Pavlos. But yeah, it's a huge problem. And I'm inundated here. I don't want the strays who can give illnesses to my cats to come in my garden. So, and I do not feed them. I don't feed them. Once, for many reasons, but that's philosophical that I won't go into. So that's an ongoing huge issue, but it's a little bit better than it was when I first came here. Number three is traffic, but this is three parts. Traffic, which is just plain too much of it. Drivers, Greeks are terrible drivers. They're just like Italians. They're aggressive. They're horn blowing. They are volatile. And traffic laws are kind of ideas or suggestions that most people don't follow. So we have that, and that's something I'm always dealing with. If I drive into the city, which I never drive into Athens. I used to once or twice, but I never did it again. It's just, it's too confusing. Plus, if you go into Athens now, there's the city ring. And if you're inside that ring, you can only go inside that ring if you have a car that the license number ends in a uh, even or odd number depending on the day. Well, people get over that by buying another car with a different license tag. But yeah, so luckily we have very good public transport. But here on the island, we get to the parking problem. There's just no place to park. So you have cars double parked along the main throughways that you have to drive down it like playing dodgem cars to get through, and traffic can be tied up for blocks because of these cars that have no place to go, so they double park while they run in and do an errand or something. And in the shopping area of Salamina, it's the same way. It's a one-way street, as is the main street coming in, and to park, it's all parallel parking. So if you find that one elusive spot to park, then you're trying to park and maneuver, and you've got somebody laying on their horn behind you. And I just don't go into that part of the city with the car. I park down at the part where there is some public parking, and I walk up into the city. Not convenient, but it's better than the stress of trying to find a place to park. So that is huge. I had a pilot friend of mine tell me once that the rule of thumb was the further east you travel, the worse are the drivers. And this is as far east as I've ever come to drive. So that's something that I just deal with. Then we have, last but not least, is bureaucracy. Greece is another level of bureaucracy, and it moves so slowly, so slowly. It's a mammoth, dysfunctional beast is what it is. And it used to be the country, they said, was drowning in papers. I had to go get a copy of my marriage license for something. And I had to go to this building downtown on Ermuz Street by the post office and up to whatever floor. And I had a card with the number of my packet with my information in it. And when I saw the woman, one of these sliding ladders that slides along a rail like an old library, and she climbs up and she pulls out this big, thick paper folder with papers all sticking out all over the place, tied with a cord. And I thought, oh, I am in so trouble. She's never going to find it. But she did. She did. It worked. But it's massive. It's massive. And my example is my resident permit card was due to expire. So I start the process to get it renewed. Now I have been here at that time 34 years. Who's up there? Oh, LG. A cat I saw like corner of my eye. So we start the process. Well, come to find out, this was when Greece was just beginning to go digital. So everything, I mean, some of the offices I could not go into. I had to have a lawyer go into the offices for me. Luckily, Vasily's daughter and her husband run an accounting firm, and she could act as my lawyer. So she could get into these places and get things done. And eventually, we got things lined up. I had to go for an interview and fill out some paperwork and be fingerprinted. So we did that. then I get a list of all that I need to do. This is over a period of months, not weeks, months. Now, and I have an existing resident permit. And this was the last time I had to renew it because I've been here so many years. Okay. So now finally I get set up with an appointment. This place that you go to, the final place that you go to, you cannot get in. There's a guard there without the appointment. And something, I didn't have the number, I can't remember what it was, but I was able to message Rula and she had a number, that's Vasily's daughter, and finally I get in. Then I get in and no, I have the wrong kind of photos. Those photos won't work. They have to be a special. I had them done at a passport place, so I didn't. So out I go again. Round the corner, conveniently, expensively, is another place to do the photos. Do the photos, go back. Now they are taking like an iris printing or whatever they do. Again, the interview, again, the questions. And I'm sitting there waiting, and he says, well, you can go. I said, well, when do I get my card? He said, well, we'll connect with your lawyer. I tell you, that was nearly 2 years ago, and I still have no physical card. I wasn't too worried about it because when I went online to check, because there's a place you can check for the progress, it just says in process. And I also had a paper that I could carry with me that had this information. But I went to the States and back, and when I came back in, there was no issue. It must show up on my passport. So no issue. But it's been 2 years. One does wonder how long these things can go on. And I've called Vasily's daughter to please check on it. She said, you can't get in the office without an appointment, and you can't get an appointment because nobody will answer the phone. Catch 22. So those are my issues that I still deal with. Luckily, I do not have to deal with the infrastructure, the bureaucracy that much. But a time will come when I do, and luckily I will have Vasily's daughter, who is clever as can be, and her husband, who they're both very helpful and they know all these things. So I will have them to lean on. But not a game changer. I still wouldn't leave. Nobody pulls out a gun and tries to shoot me. Nobody hijacks my car. Yeah. Love this country. Can't think of anything, any place I'd rather live except Crete. I would love to live in Crete. All right, my dear friends, that's my message for today. And I'm going to work on the walk, talk, and film so I can give you a video with me walking, talking, and filming. But I'm just not ready yet. Okay, thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't. And comment. I love the comments. It encourages me. And one of my things, the reason I'm doing these is connecting. So it's been great connecting with you today. Ciao, ciao.